Did you ever think your neighbor could secretly drain your water tank, jacking up your bill to hundreds of dollars, only to find out they're controlling the entire neighborhood's supply? That's exactly what happened to me when I moved into Pinewood Estates, a place I thought was my fresh start. Let me take you through the wildest 6 months of my life, where I went from a quiet engineer to the guy who brought down the queen bee of our HOA. I'm Ethan Carter, a water systems engineer with 15 years under my belt. After a brutal divorce that left me with just my degree and some SAVYNGS, I bought a modern eco-friendly home in Pinewood, lured by its sustainable water setup. Each house had a rainwater tank to supplement the city supply, keeping bills low around $80 a month, even in droughts. For 3 months, it was perfect. Then April hit, and my bill shot to $350. I figured it was a glitch. May's bill? $500. By June, I was staring at a $650 bill for water I hadn't used. I'm a single guy working 10-hour days, barely home to shower, let alone fill a lake. Something was off. I started tracking my tank levels daily, charting them like a nerd. Within a week, I noticed huge drops between 2 and 5 p.m. while I was at work. No leaks, no crazy usage. My meter said I used maybe 30 gallons a day. My gut screamed theft. The first HOA meeting confirmed my suspicions. Vanessa Reed, the HOA president, ran the show like a dictator in a designer suit. Mid-50s, sharp blonde bob, and a smile that could freeze lava, she shut me down when I mentioned water issues. Mr. Carter, our award-winning system is flawless. Maybe check your habits, she said, her tone dripping with disdain. The board, led by her lapdog, Greg Larson, snickered. I felt like a kid scolded in class. After the meeting, an elderly resident, Clara Monroe, pulled me aside. Don't take it personal, hon. Vanessa's always hard on new folks. Check your tank's connection points. There's been incidents. Before I could dig deeper, her husband whisked her away. Her words stuck, though. That weekend, I scoured my backyard and caught Vanessa sneaking away from my tank, glancing around like a thief. Footprints in the dirt near my access panel sealed that was stealing my water. My neighbor, Ryan Patel, an IT whiz, helped me set up motion-activated cameras. 3 days later, we had her on tape. At 2:15 p.m., Vanessa slipped through a loose fence, unlocked my tank with a key, and hooked up a hose running to her property. An hour later, she unhooked it and left, her face clear as day. This is straight-up robbery, Ryan said, shaking his head. Then a certified letter from the HOA arrived, accusing me of unauthorized system modifications and demanding I remove my cameras or face $100 daily fines. Vanessa's handwritten note read, "We value privacy in Pinewood. I hope you understand." The threat only fueled my fire. I sweet-talked the neighborhood's developer into sharing the original blueprints, claiming I needed them for a renovation. Late one night, poring over the plans, I nearly spilled my coffee. My tank wasn't just linked to Vanessa's, it was a hub for the entire neighborhood's secondary supply. My house sat at a critical junction due to the land's slope. I held the key to everyone's water, and Vanessa had no clue. Over coffee with Clara, I learned Vanessa wasn't always president. 4 years ago, she ousted the previous leader after he started sniffing around water discrepancies. Since then, HOA fees had spiked 70 fan tram, with no clear accounting. Clara dropped a bombshell. Vanessa had a hidden pool, banned by city rules, disguised as a water feature, under a retractable deck. She even charged friends for access, calling it a private club. Ryan's drone caught footage of one of her exclusive parties, showing a full-blown pool with guests sipping cocktails. I installed a hidden water meter to track her theft and called my college buddy, Lucas Hayes, a real estate lawyer. "This is felony-level water theft, Ethan," he said. "At her HOA abuse and profiteering, and she's toast." Vanessa ramped up her attacks. Violation notices piled up. Me grass was too long, my mailbox too dark, my garage door open too long. She sent inspectors when I wasn't home, and Greg cornered me by the mailboxes. Back off, Carter. Vanessa runs this place, and she doesn't forget enemies. The last guy who crossed her lost his job. Her brother-in-law's golf buddy pulled strings. I wasn't scared, I was pissed. I surveyed neighbors quietly, finding widespread fear of Vanessa's retaliation but growing anger at her rule. At an emergency HOA meeting, Vanessa pushed a bylaw banning unauthorized monitoring equipment to kill my cameras. I called her out, asking why my bills jumped 800 fan tram despite low usage. Her smile stayed, but her knuckles whitened. Direct usage questions to the city, Mr. Carter. I pressed. Like someone siphoning water with illegal hoses? The room went silent. Her smile cracked. Newcomers don't question our decades of leadership, she snapped. The bylaw passed, but I'd planted doubt. That night, I installed a remote valve on my tank. When Vanessa tapped in, I'd cut the flow briefly, making it seem like a pressure glitch. She couldn't complain without admitting her theft. The next day, at 2:15 p.m., my sensor pinged. I let her connect, then cut the flow for 30 seconds. I did it a few times, picturing her cursing as her hose sputtered. The following weekend, Ryan heard she was hosting a big pool party for city bigwigs, her annual Power Flex. Perfect timing. I built a website, truthaboutpinewood.com, with my EVY Denke, theft VY Deos, pool footage, bill graphs, and HOA threats. I kept it private but ready. Clara spread whispers of a bombshell. A new neighbor, Councilwoman Lila Grant, tipped me off that the city was probing HOA irregularities, including ours. Your EVY Denke could push this over the edge, she said. I prepped a file for the city but wanted Vanessa to feel the heat first. Party day was a sunny Saturday. From my window, I saw caterers and a sparkling poolway over the water feature limit. I'd sent satellite images to the city, but they'd move slow. I let Vanessa top off her pool, then shut the valve mid-party. 2 hours later, Ryan texted. Pool's dropping. Guests are bailing. She's furious. Splashing and heat had lowered the water, exposing a grimy line. When she tried to refill, nothing came. Toilets wouldn't flush either. Her elite guests left early, humiliated. That evening, Vanessa pounded on my door. I know you did this, she hissed, her perfect makeup masking pure rage. You've declared war, Carter. I played dumb. Water pressure's been weird for me too. Maybe it's a neighborhood issue? She stormed off, vowing legal action. Ryan, eavesdropping, warned. She's unhinged. Be careful. 3 days later, my cameras caught a plumbing van at my house while I was at work. 2 guys were ripping out my valve and monitors. I called the cops, sped home, and arrived as Vanessa waved a forged work order claiming emergency repairs. The signature wasn't mine, amateur forgery. That's not my signature, I told the officer. I want charges for trespassing, vandalism, and forgery. The plumbers folded, admitting Vanessa paid cash and VY dead the fake order. My cameras caught her directing them to rip out his equipment. She was cooked. I upped the ante. My new system diverted her stolen water to a hidden tank, collecting EVY Denke while star VYing her supply. Lucas sent a legal notice to the HOA, demanding Vanessa's recusal, an audit, and an end to harassment, hinting at lawsuits. Greg called, panicking. Vanessa's VYD. Her connections can ruin you. I replied. Like her cousin at the bank who blackballs people? That's a regulator's wet dream. He hung up, rattled. Clara's grandson, a caterer at Vanessa's emergency board meeting, overheard her plotting a property lien to EVYCT me. I wasn't shocked. Public records showed she'd siphoned $200,000 in HOA funds through fake maintenance reserves. Her rumors about me calling me a fired engineer or a spy backfired as neighbors grew skeptical. Clara connected me with VY Tims, a couple charged for solar panels, a widower bullied into selling jewelry cheap. Vanessa even tried bribing Ryan with a $5,000 HOA gig to realign me. He told her to shove it. When Vanessa called a meeting to EVYCT me for Covenant violations. I came armed. The room was packed, everyone loved the drama. Vanessa ranted about my disruptive cameras and rumors. Lucas took the stage, projecting my EVY denke, theft vy deos, forged orders, shady transfers, and pool photos. The crowd gasped. A banker neighbor called out her self-dealing. Vanessa tried to gavel them down, but Greg shocked everyone, confessing. She forged my signature too. Threatened my job. I'm done. The EVY tie-in failed. Vanessa, desperate, announced a board-controlled audit to stall. I was ready. Lila's city contacts hired Deloitte for a real audit. Vanessa tried tapping a new pipe, botching it and causing a leak my sensors caught. I found her old HOA had investigated her for similar scams. She dodged accountability then, but not now. Lila said the water authority had flagged her pool's usage. I added a safe, FDA-approved dye to my tank that turned blue in pool chlorine. At Vanessa's next party for city officials, I let her siphon water. 2 hours in, Ryan texted. Pool's neon blue. Guests are freaking. The dye worked too well. Guests fled, fearing stains. Vanessa screamed I'd sabotaged her, but a water inspector took samples, nailing her illicit pipeline. The city slapped her with citations for water violations and fraud. At the final HOA meeting, Vanessa accused me of chemical vandalism. I presented my full case, vy deos, bills, dye proof. The room was silent until Greg confessed again, and Deloitte revealed due law $270,000 in shady payments to Vanessa's sister's company. Neighbors erupted, demanding answers. Clara called a no-confidence vote, and Vanessa was ousted, storming out with threats of lawsuits. The aftermath was swift. Vanessa's airport escape failed. She was caught fleeing to Mexico. She was convicted of theft, fraud, and forgery, ordered to pay restitution, served 200 hours on drought projects, and got a suspended sentence. Her pool became a community garden and splash pad. The HOA/fees redesigned the water system, and I had VY set on conservation. My consulting business now helps other neighborhoods fight waste and theft. Vanessa still lives here, quietly tending city landscapes. We've built a real community, transparent, fair, and thriving. Standing by the splash pad at our water conservation festival, Clara said, "You didn't just stop her, Ethan. You changed everything." I shrugged. I just wanted my bill fixed. But we both knew it was bigger. Sometimes, one person standing up can make justice flow like water, finding its way no matter what.